What's up, you YouTubers? This is W Cloud coming at you with hopefully I can get the 2 decks I've been trying to upload for a while now uploaded tonight before I get off and do whatever I have to with my life. Sorry I haven't uploaded anything recently. It's just been a really busy year for me, and just college and all that stuff, trying to get a job. This is so much fun. So yeah. First deck I'm going to upload is my X-Sabers, which recently I made it in top 4, but immediately got beat out at my local. The only problem I had was with the Fire and Ice hands, but I believe my side deck now sufficiently stops them. So, but yeah, so let's get started. I'm going to change it up this time. I'm going to go monsters, traps, spells, because traps are heavy in this deck. Run 3 X-Saber Faltroll, because he's a monster reborn and he's amazing. You need him for a hand loop in this deck that's still legal, which is amazing. But I might pump him down to 2 and put my full helms back to 3, because this kind of clogged a lot. So, yeah. Your 3 X-Saber Dark Soul on my me, just fixing something that popped up on my computer really fast. Okay, but yeah, your 3 X-Saber Dark Soul, your key searcher for the deck, he's just amazing and busted. Gets attacked, awesome search, gets destroyed by card effect, awesome search. I actually had somebody deprison this once, and I was just so sad. Moving on, 3 X-Saber Bargain Knights, normal summon him, get an additional X-Saber, like your Pastule or your Full Helm, Synchro for your Salza, or your Hyomle. Hyomle, this format you have to be very careful with, because if you blow up the artifacts, you're gonna have a bad time. Now, I was extremely careful with this. Most of the time I just special summon a Dark Soul or one of my 3 X-Saber Embers Blades. People are saying, you know what, this isn't a really good card, Bear is still a thing. You're right, Bear is still a thing. The problem is, Bear is not as good as he was in the format, so I believe your 3 Embers Blade are just better. Now, I had it at 2, but then the new stuff came out and just made me want to put it back to 3. Like I said, 2 full Helm Knight. If I do take out a Faltroll, I'm putting my 3rd more of her back in, because I like her better. That way she can negate an attack, she can be used for Synchro, all the good stuff. 2 X-Saber Pastule. You reinforce Truth this guy out. You can use him as a little wall to save your life points, or you can bring him out during your opponent's end phase. That way you can Synchro summon him within the next turn. One of the other cards you need for your hand loop is this little guy here called Double X-Saber Rigurgia. His effect is when he's normal summoned or special summoned, you can add 1 X-Saber back from your graveyard to your hand. I'll explain more about this later. 1 Redux, because pitch him and one of your other all-earth monsters to the graveyard, monster of 1, or just bring him out and he's a synchro material for something you want to do. 1 Grand Soil, because this deck has a really easy time manipulating the graveyard with your Reduxes, your Full Helms, your Faltrolls, your Gothams, E-Calls, your Soul Charge, which I'll get to later. So yeah. 2 Max C's are my only hand traps, because once someone summons a Fire or Ice hand and declares an attack to like my Bargain Knight with it, I'm gonna chain Max C. Yes, I may not get anything out of it, but if my opponent takes the bait, I've gotten up to a +4 off of this guy. So it's too good. Traps. Through Saber Hole, your warning for the deck, the only thing it doesn't do is it can't stop a summon that starts a chain. So like the hands, well, the hands, once they've rammed into your monster, this can't stop them from special summoning something else. But I am going to warn each and every one of you who ever watch this video, do not Saber Hole or Solemn Warning the initial summon of a fire or ice hand. Wait until they go to summon with, you can't do it with your Saber Holes, but with your Solemn Warning, wait until they go to special summon the fire or ice hand from the deck, because it's just bad. Because if you Saber Hole or Warning it, they will get their effects, and you're just going to have a bad time. 2 Gundam Z-Calls. I had this at 3, but it clogged, like my Falter Rolls are doing currently, so I pumped it down to 2. Still a really, really good card, though. 1 Reinforced Truth to get out one of your 2 X-Saber Pastuals. Use them, like I said, use them as a wall, or use them to synchro with next turn. The only backdraw is you don't want to activate this during your turn unless you've used your Soul Charge, because then you won't get a battle phase. 1 Solemn Warning. 2-Dimensional Prison, because these stop the hands from going to the graveyard so they won't get their effects. 2 Fiendish Chain. 2 Chain. Sorry, I had to. Because it's just a good card. It's nutty in a lot of ways. 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, because like I said, the hands don't hit the graveyard, you don't have to worry about them. And 2 Trap Stun. People say I've got way too many traps in this deck to actually main Trap Stun. No, I don't. I've gotten away with this card every single time I've played it. But yeah, so Trap Stun is a great card, and it's just overly abusive in this deck. 2 Tanky, to search out one of your 3 Bard Knights or your Raigurgia, because he is a Beast Warrior, and I think it's amazing. 1 Reinforced Truth allows you to search out your Pastule or your Full Helm, which is just none. 1 Soul Charge. I was running 2. I had to get rid of it because half the time it did cost me to duel. The other half of the time it allowed me to set up and just nutty and just go off like crazy. So I pumped it down to 1. Hopefully that problem solves itself. And 1 Dark Hole. Average. Alright, moving on to my extra deck. 2 double X-Saber Handlay. You have to be careful with this card right now because of the artifact cards. If you go up against artifacts, use Hyunlei's effect to destroy everything, you're just gonna dig your own grave. One X-Saber Salza. He can either make himself indestructible for traps, or he can make himself into a canister by tributing another X-Saber, which is really, really, really nice, because I have a problem with bigger monsters sometimes, believe it or not. 1 X-Saber Gothams. This is where your hand loop becomes a thing. Your required cards for the hand loop are Gothams, 2 Falter Rolls, and a Raigurgia. The combo is you Gothams, and say you've got a Raigurgia in your hand, and a Falter Roll in your hand, and a Falter Roll in your graveyard. Once that is set up like so, Special Summon Falter Roll, Raigurgia's effect, not Raigurgia's effect, Gotham's effect, tribute your Raigurgia, this Falter Roll effect, Special Summon your Raigurgia, grab your Falter Roll to your hand, Gotham's effect, tribute, special, tribute, effect, special, and there's your hand move, because Gotham says you can tribute 1 X-Saber monster to discard 1 card randomly from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. I've actually decked somebody out because they maxed me on this, and they didn't have a Veiler or a Fiendish Chain to stop me. So, You gotta be careful with your plays, but if you can get that off, awesome. One ally of Justice Cadister, because he's still a decent card in my mind. He will never stop being one. One Naturia Beast, because all of your monsters are Earth, minus one monster in your side. One Naturia Barkion, won me 5 duels the other day. One Black Rose. It's very hard to get to. I'll be honest. It is extremely hard to get to. Usually I have to do it with like a beast and a Pastoral or something just really cockeyed, but I do like the security of having just one in my extra. One Crimson Blader, because, you know, still a decent thing. One Scrap Dragon. Colossal Fighter. Outside of the hands, this is my MVP of my roster deck, because there are a lot of Boojins running around at my locals. So now that they have 7 Honest, I synchro to him and say, my body is ready. One Gigantic Castle. I'm probably going to take this out when I get another Gothams, because I like Gothams better. He's a little bit bigger. But no, still nice. Level 9 synchro. One Leo. Another key offensive against hands right here, because you can't be targeted until your main phase 2. So, fire hand, have a nice day. And the only Ixies that I use are 2 Abyss Dweller, because once you go to him and your opponent has a Fire Ice Hand on the field, it's like, have a nice day. Because I hate those cards with a passion. Sadly enough, they're in the other deck that I plan to upload today. Alright, side deck. 3 Skullmeister. Currently, in the TCG, he can stop the hand effects. In the OCG, supposedly, he can't. I don't know why. I'm not questioning why. I like it, so I'm not going to question. You can also stop things like Necro Gardener, Breakthrough Skill, Skill Prisoner, random stuff like that leave the graveyard, which I love that a lot. Like your turtles, and your hares, and your sinews, and your God knows what else Boojins have that use graveyard. Another key offensive for your Fire and Ice hands, Chivalry. What this card does is pretty awesome. What this card does is when your opponent I can activate it only during the battle phase. When an effect of an effect monster your opponent controls is activated, negate the activation, and if you do so, destroy it. This is perfect. Once they go to the grave, yeah, you'll lose a monster, but a monster or a spell, but you can stop them from going off any further by negating the summon of the Fire or Ice hand to replace. 2 Light Imprisoning Mirrors, because Boojins, Noble Knights, a bunch of other random Constellars. It's just a really good card. I was thinking of replacing my Light Imprisonings with Shadow, but currently there's no Evil Swarms running around at my locals. 2 Mind Crush, because it's still a nutty card for the format, I believe. Still a lot of decks that search out. Your standard 3 MST, because MST doesn't need an explanation. And 2 very nice cards that I picked up. 2 Forbidden Scripture. Now this card's nice. You can activate it going into your, like, say your opponent goes into their battle phase. You're playing against Boojins. Their opponent goes into their battle phase, and they declare an attack. You're like, okay, their monster's weaker, you know they've got something coming. Activate Forbidden Scripture, and say GG, because anything that boosts their attack or lowers yours is nullified, and all damage is done with original attacks. So it's pretty busted. Alright, thank you guys for watching my video. Please like, comment, or subscribe. And again, thank you for your time.